Welcome to Holiday Let Insider, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the holiday letting industry. Brought to you by Host Planet and Sykes Holiday Cottages, this show is packed with expert insights, real-world strategies, and actionable advice to help you succeed as a holiday let host. I'm James Farley, the founder of Host Planet, and in each episode we'll dive into key topics like property management, guest experience, and revenue growth. And we'll be joined by industry experts who know what it takes to thrive in this sector. In today's episode, we'll be discussing diversification for farmers into holiday letting with Katie Williams, Sykes Marketing and Events Manager. Are you looking to take the hassle out of holiday letting while setting yourself up for success? With Sykes Holiday Cottages, you benefit from working with a team of real people with vast experience and knowledge, all providing a unique service to support you every step of the way. 11-time consecutive winners of the Best Large Company for UK Holiday Home Rentals at the British Travel Awards, Sykes uses industry-leading pricing systems, dedicated account management, and a network of more than 700 booking partners to help get the most out of your investment. Sykes aims to combine trusted experience with local expertise to help make your holiday let a success. Get in touch today to find out more. Head to sykescottages.co.uk/letyourcottage for further details. Hello and welcome to Holiday Let Insider. Today's special guest is Katie Williams, the Marketing and Events Manager at Sykes Holiday Cottages. And today we're going to discuss diversification through holiday letting. So Katie, if you're a farmer, why is diversification through holiday letting a good idea?
Thanks, James. Thanks, everybody, for listening. So if you're a farmer and you're thinking of diversifying, it's probably a really wise idea at the moment. As we all know, farming is in a massive period of transition, and it's always wise to look for that additional income stream, and that's where holiday letting comes in. It's a natural fit for farmers. Rural tourism is still booming. People want to go on that countryside retreat. It's still really, really popular with our consumer base. You've already got the land. You might have some barns that you've not used in years and you think, oh, it's just sat there not doing anything. Well, why not make a little bit of money from it? Our farm stays, there are top earners still. So you're making about 29,000 per property per year. So that's actually quite a good income to make as an extra. And actually farming, it's really about that local farming community. And you've got to remember, for every £1,000 spent on a holiday, about £300 is spent within that local economy. So you're supporting that local countryside, village and hamlet, whatever it is.
So let's break it down a little bit then. What are the advantages to holiday letting as opposed to other forms of property investment?
So, as I mentioned, you repurpose that existing farm asset. So again, it could be a land, it could be an outbuilding. We've even actually got a property recently come on our books, which is a silo. So they've basically taken all the grain out and repurposed it, and they've made it into this 2-story holiday let, which is fantastic because it's really, really unique. And that's what our customer wants. They want something a little bit unique. So, as I've said, repurpose your existing farm assets, your unused land. What are the advantages? You're going to get a higher income than you would if you've got a property, maybe a spare property that you might have a long-term let. You're going to see a bit of a higher income potential through holiday letting. There's a lot less wear and tear. So guests are typically staying 2 to 3 nights a week. So a lot shorter periods. So that's where your wear and tear comes in. One top tip would figure out who's cleaning the property sooner rather than later. It's really, really important, as you've seen in our other podcasts, where I think Rachel Brennan brought it up. It's really important to have a clean property. That's one of the top things that our customers want. And I think a lot can be forgiven if the property is really clean, if something goes a little bit awry, a little bit wrong. They'll forgive you if that property is really clean and a comfy bed. I also feel like you have more control. So you can screen your guests, set some rules and manage your bookings actively. And finally, it's great for personal use. If you've got family coming to stay, Christmas, Easter, whatever, they can use the property as well.
Are you a holiday let owner, host, or property manager looking to grow your short-term rental business? If so, join Host Planner and Sykes Holiday Cottages for Holiday Let Success, a free one-day event on the 11th of November at One City Place in Chester, right inside Sykes HQ. You'll hear from industry experts, connect with top suppliers, and walk away with practical strategies to increase bookings, boost revenue, and streamline your operations. Tickets are completely free, but places are limited. Register now at houseplanner.club/events. You've mentioned there that there's various different types of property that you can develop. What should farmers potentially be looking at, like a cabin, a lodge, a barn conversion? Which are the ones that work best with your target audience?
I think it completely depends on your circumstance. Obviously, glamping with your cabins, your lodges, your yurts, super popular. Great for the current market because we are still leaning towards that micro tripping. So it's your long weekends, it's your 2 or 3 days. We've actually seen about 34% UK holidaymakers are selecting that shorter stay. So that kind of the cabin, the pod, it lends itself nicely to that. If you've got a beautiful, stables, or you've got an unused barn, then certainly do a barn conversion. Super important to kind of take a step back from the farm, from the land, and kind of go, what is my unique selling point here? And kind of go down that route. That's the best advice I could give.
And when it comes to the location and specifically the amenities, and we might be thinking here being pet friendly, hot tubs, EV chargers, stuff like that, what are guests really looking for right now when they go and stay at a farm type property?
Well, I think guests are looking for, again, like you just mentioned, James, they want it pet friendly. They want a hot tub. They want an EV charging point. I think the question is kind of why are the travellers still opting for that countryside experience? It's less crowded for one. I love the countryside. I would not go to the city for a break, especially you have a stressful job, you want to get away, you want to relax. They're more affordable as well, and the flexibilities on the accommodation too, and they're eco-friendly, which is super important to our consumer base. They also have the amenities in terms of the top 3. So when our customer comes to us, they might be looking for walking, countryside pubs, cycling routes. And that's what the countryside is. That lends itself to that perfectly. When we talk about amenities, let's talk about pet friendly. So first of all, you're going to see about a 9% more bookings if you make your property pet friendly, which I know can be a bit of a sore subject when it comes to farmers and landowners due to sheep worrying, dogs off leads. It's a real sore subject with some. So what we would recommend is if you're going to make it pet friendly, make sure take lots of pictures of what the garden looks like. If you're going to put up fencing, make sure it's nice high fencing, really seal that in, and just be super strict when it comes to your rules and your welcome pack. If you don't want a dog to go on certain areas of the farm or the property, you need to say that. And you also need to tell them to keep customer to keep their dog on the lead at all times as well. Something else, another amenity would be your hot tubs. Everybody wants a hot tub. Everyone loves a hot tub. Again, everybody kind of searches for hot tub for the glamping pod. That's what everybody wants, that mini moon, that romantic escape. A hot tub is perfect for that. EV chargers are something that is kind of coming in more and more. We're seeing more and more of our consumer base asking for EV chargers or asking where the nearest EV charging point is. So we would recommend getting one for your property. And finally, and this is, I think for me, this is something that we sometimes overlook, Wi-Fi. So I personally, if I'm going to go away, I want to watch, what's new on Netflix. I want to have a look, might look at some emails or something, which is a little bit naughty of me, but check my emails when I'm on my holiday. So it's kind of the workcation. is super, super important. So good Wi-Fi. Make sure you've got good, steady Wi-Fi. It's a priority for actually 72% of our customer base. So really, really important. And you can get some. I know in the past with the countryside, it's been quite difficult to get good Wi-Fi, but there are some really, really good networks out there now that are working to get Wi-Fi to those more reclusive places.
Yeah, Wi-Fi and photography. Those are the things that we probably talk about more than just about anything else on this podcast. And hot tubs as well. Yeah, I mean, actually, we stayed as a family at a little log cabin at the weekend, and there was a hot tub there. And when we arrived, I said, "You're not getting me in there because it's absolutely freezing. No way." And then on the first night, my wife was like, "Come on, let's go in the hot tub." And of course, all the kids wanted to go in as well. So it wasn't particularly romantic because there was 2 of us and 3 kids. But yeah, it was very nice, even if we were only in there for about half an hour. So you can see why. And again, I guess it's everything revolves around trying to stand out a little bit. And like the more of those extra amenities you can tick, the more people you're going to appeal to, right? And the more guests you're going to get.
It's a home. You basically want home from home. You want to be in comfort. You want luxury. You don't want to go somewhere and find actually, they've not got any good Wi-Fi. I can't watch that program. We can't catch up on the Guinness episodes on Netflix this weekend because there's no Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is not good enough. Oh, hang on. It says it's pet friendly, but actually it's not. It's a real fine balance.
Yeah, and I think with the Wi-Fi as well, I was pleasantly surprised I got there with the Wi-Fi and I thought, oh, this is quite quick. And I tested it on fast.com. I was like, gosh, this is nearly as quick as what I've got at home. Brilliant, right, fantastic. This place gets 5 stars. It gets a tick. Yes. So, I mean, thinking about like maybe a case study that you might be able to share then, is there a recent example of an owner who's diversified into holiday letting, what they did, what the pitfalls might have been and kind of where they are after the first 12 months?
So our main owner base are farmers and landowners. They make the majority of our owner base. So I've got loads and loads of case studies. We've been working with a few farmers for many years. But one I want to pull from, part of my role at Sykes is I go up and down the country, going to different events, talking to new owners, people that are looking to get into holiday letting. And one I remember, it was a lovely young couple called Alwyn and Leah. They are from mid Wales on the Snowdonia estate. And they came to us at the Farm Business Innovation Show in 2023, I believe. And they were looking to diversify. Alwyn has a beef and sheep farm, but unfortunately it was not financially stable enough to kind of supplement him and his dad. So Alan was having to contract himself out, go on the tractors to various other farms, which is obviously, his dad's getting older, he wants to stay at the farm, he wants to kind of make the business his own, but it just was not financially stable for them. So they had some land and they said, well, what are we going to do? Let's try and diversify. So they came to us with this amazing idea. They wanted to put in what you would call them hobbit huts, but actually you can't call them hobbit huts because Tolkien has the trademark on them. So we call them underground pods. So they came to us with this idea and said, we want to put these pods on. What do you think? Do you think it's viable? Do you think people want to come and stay? Well, of course you are. Of course you're going to want to stay. And I think that's one thing with farmers and landowners, because you've lived there all your life. I think you forget the beauty of the place that you live in. If you've lived in the centre of Birmingham all your life, if you come out to somewhere like on the Snowdonia estate in mid Wales, it's idyllic. So you have to be really, really confident in being able to kind of sell your property and sell the location that it's in. It is beautiful. You just might not be able to see it because you've lived there for years. Anyway, back to the case study. So we went out to see the property. I actually went because I first joined Sykes, went out and saw the property, and they were just putting in the infrastructures, the road, the plumbing, etc. And I had a chat with Alwyn's dad, who was very, very apprehensive. This is brand new to him. He's been a farmer all his life. He is not a natural person in hospitality. That's not his strength. That's not That's not his key points. But they did have this vision, and hopefully we'll be able to share on a link that some pictures of the property, because it is outstanding. So they've got these two beautiful hobbit houses that now, because they've got that and it's supplementing them, and you know, they're getting that extra bit of income, that extra stream of income. Alwyn can now stay on the farm with his dad, which is a really, really nice story. And I think it's just great, and it's kind of really heartwarming, actually. And I'm really proud to say that we've helped them, and they're really happy, and they've got loads of bookings. They've even got a third pod, which Leia, who is Alwyn's partner, she is a beauty therapist. So she actually has a little spa that she does massages from. They've got lovely hot tubs. They've got a little sauna. So they see lots of local people using the spa, but actually, when I last spoke to them, about 70% of their Sykes customers were actually paying extra on the day to use the spa facilities. So that's great, and that's all about your experience, and that's where you move into kind of the discussion of experiential holidays, and, you know, how do I make my property and my holiday let stand out from everybody else? Because you have to remember, and it's really important, yes, as an owner, you want lots and lots of bookings, but actually that one booking could be that person's only holiday that year. So how do you make it extra special for them? So special that they'll rebook.
Yeah, I mean, providing a great guest experience, but also that upselling revenue as well. And, you know, I go back to where we stayed at the log cabin the other week. It's right next to a kids' theme park. And of course, we're there for a couple of days. So we're spending money all the time in the soft play, because we're, you know, buying drinks, we're buying food. And you think of all that extra revenue. If you saw that the amount you were going to spend at the start, you'd probably think, oh, gosh, no, I'm not going to go there. But, you know, when you're there and you need all that stuff, and you want to do things like massages and beauty treatments and all the rest of it to enhance your experience. Yeah, brilliant way to build the business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of, you know, setting up, you know, when a company or, you know, like families come to you, what do you kind of advise them to concentrate on at the start?
So something to consider when you're setting up, firstly, is kind of, what have you got in front of you? What are you going to do? How are you going to make this really, really special? Look at your infrastructure, consider your planning, speak to planning consultants. They might be able to help you with grants and schemes. So that's kind of what I would describe personally as the boring bit, the important bit. It's really important. It's a bit boring. Now, the niceties, the stuff that I like, stuff to consider is your photos. It's really important that you make that strong visual impression straight away. So what we know from our customer base is actually they will choose a property based on the first 3 photos. So we need to make sure that they are really impressive and they drag and draw people in to your property. We also want them to be realistic and authentic as possible, so there's no surprises when that customer comes on holiday with you. Something else to consider is your pricing. It needs to be clear, it needs to be competitive, but also needs to be flexible. Again, something the team here, pricing team here at Sykes can assist you with if you so wish. And something else that I would maybe consider is, how are you going to promote that new business? So social media is great. If you're going to post on social media, make your own account, make sure the content is, really important, it's on point, make sure it's a regular post you're putting up. If you can get in contact with, a little bit of a content creator, maybe offer them, half price to come and stay at the property in return for a little bit of free content. Doesn't go amiss. The more people that are seeing your property, the better, the more likely you're going to get more visibility from that. But most of all, for me, I think when you're setting up, it's taking a step back from whether it be your farm, your land, and going, what is my unique selling point here? And how can I make this really special? So if I've got a massive farmhouse in front of me, I would think, right, large parties. Perfect for, family get-togethers, stags, hen-dos, getaways, that type of thing. That's perfect. I've got some land over here, okay. I could maybe put 1 or 2 pods on that what would that sell to? Well, that's your mini moon market, your romantic retreats, getaways, stuff like that. So it's looking at that and then thinking, right, so I've got this in front of me now. I know what my unique selling point is. How do I make it extra special? So for me, to make it extra special, it's about that experience, and that's where Alwyn and Leia really, really have hit the note there, because they've got that experience of that spa. Well, you can do all sorts. The farming community, if nothing is imaginative, you could do, bottle feeding of lambs, you could do llama walks, goat yoga, which personally I've not done myself, but I would definitely give it a go. It's just something that makes that, makes it extra special and makes people want to rebook with you. And then finally, not to get too political, because I don't want to go down that route. However, this now is your perfect opportunity as, landowners, farmers, to educate the public on exactly what you do in your day-to-day life. So if you're on a working farm, give them a little tour, show them you milking the cows, tell them exactly where their food is coming from and how much work you put in it to put that food on the general public's plate. This is your perfect opportunity, so grab it with both hands.
Absolutely, yeah, great tips there. And if you're a farmer as well, that might work well for a welcome hamper, or like selling goods as well if you've got produce to sell.
We've got lots of farmers actually that have farm shops on site, and we've got one in Shropshire called the Tractor Shed, and they've got a butchery, so you can actually make your own sausages, bacon for your breakfast in the morning. It's just those little bits of experience that people just love.
Yeah, fantastic. I know we mentioned these are kind of the boring bits, but when it comes to planning, permission, regulation, I'm sure you get these questions. What's your advice to people in this area?
So, if you're converting your residential property into a full-time holiday let, you're going to need a change of use. So contact your local council. Lots of people think with glamping, one of the most questions I get are, oh, well, you don't need planning for that. You do. If you're putting in infrastructure, you need planning. So, if it's a conversion, new build, pod, yurt, whatever, you are going to have to get some planning. So it is recommended that you do get that planning permission. Top tips from me when it comes to planning: speak to your local planning authority, but also speak to your land managers. They will be able to put you in touch with people, specialist planners that will know what that local planning agency want, and be aware of upcoming regulations and stuff. Obviously, in Scotland and Wales, they do things slightly differently to us in England, but just be aware of that and just do your research.
Speak to the experts and do your research, 100%. Finally then, how can Sykes help you? And if there are people out there thinking, do you know what, I want to give this a go and I want to speak to Katie, where do they go to find out more information?
So you can visit our website. If you go on sykescottages.co.uk /let your cottage, give us a call, come to events. We're going to an event called the Farm Business Innovation Show. It's on the 5th and 6th of November at the NEC Birmingham. We are right at the front of the hall, so come and have a chat with me or one of the property experts that will be on the stand. No idea is a bad idea, I always say, and there are workarounds for everything. So come and have a chat with us, give us your ideas. We can send out a property consultant to come and have a look at a piece of land to tell you if it's viable or not. And then from there, we can take the photography, we can help you with, if you want to do a bit of planning, we can help you put together mortgage applications, all sorts of things. We can give you all those tools to help you succeed in holiday letting, take your bookings, do all your marketing. We spend about £35 million per year on marketing, so we are the marketing experts. And we can just give you end-to-end support, really. So come and just come and speak to us. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Fantastic, and we'll put all those details in the show notes. Head along to see Katie at the NEC. That was the 5th and 6th of November.
6th of November, yeah.
Okay. Superb. And we've also got our free event, which is the 11th of November in Chester at Sykes HQ, which is Holiday Let Success. So if you're in the Chester Northwest region and you want to have a chat to Katie and come and see the rest of the Host Planet team, then please do come along. Looking forward to the event, Katie. Not long now.
Yes, not long now.
All right, superb. Okay, well, Katie, thanks so much for joining us on Holiday Let Insider.
Thank you so much, James.
Great to chat to Katie Williams there from Sykes Holiday Cottages. If you're a farmer with land and looking to diversify your business, get in touch with Katie and the team. All right, that's it for today's episode. If you're keen to work with Sykes Holiday Cottages, head to sykescottages.co.uk/let your cottage. And for more free education, tips and trends from the STR industry, visit houseplanet.club, where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen to our podcasts, and download a suite of ebooks for hosts and property managers. That's it for today's edition of Holiday Let Insider. Until next time, happy hosting.